Dem tabenkel und wer zersetzt.
Say again.
Dem tabenkel und wer zersetzt.
Sit down.
Take a chair and be seated.
This way I can listen to you.
Oh, I recognize the word Bainbridge.
Yeah, the chair.
Because I've been learning.
See?
Nothing like
Although not to be confused with the word Bankschaft, which is longing, nostalgia.
This is the back
for all the people
Bank
that
and
can't stand.
those too long.
What is it?
The nostalgize.
Mesh with Yiddish.
No, nothing to do with you.
Not Hebrew.
I don't want to throw other people off.
Yiddish is written in Hebrew characters.
Okay. So what's the difference?
People in the back, are you participating? Arlene, are you joining us?
Of course.
Okay, so then the same thing. Please take your book, your copy of the handout. It's called Yiddish Song Workshop. Don't take the class one workshop, we'll be reading the wrong charts. It will be a very interesting polyphony then.
Yeah.
I love polyphony, but that's not an English class.
Boy, thank you for creating all these
You're very welcome.
song sheets, gosh.
Yeah,
Usually the Rashta.
yes,
Zisl.
I was thinking about a bungalow. You know what I thought?
that's exactly
What is Slepovitch and why it's written in Yiddish? Slepovitch.
Because it's declination, it's a dative. From whom? Not who, but
From
whom.
whom? Oh, I understand.
Zisl and Slepovitch.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, Yiddish has declinations.
I understand now. Yeah.
I mean, as a Spanish speaker, you must understand
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
It was hard when I started teaching Yiddish at the New School University. I needed some advice from language teaching professionals. How do I explain declinations, cases, to English-only speakers
Yeah.
who basically only know them by pronouns? He, him, her, she, but that's it. It lost all the declinations in the Middle Ages or Renaissance period. And she taught me, she was a French language professor, and she explained it very interesting.
I mean, this is,
Okay, I'm almost
this
there.
is like Good Morgen in German. But it's not.
Because, like, you know,
Is it really?
Finnish language has 22 declinations, and Cambodian has 48 cases. Yeah, Cambodian is the most grammatically complex language.
No, thank you.
Why? You don't like Cambodian songs in Yiddish?
No, I don't want to learn that much.
Jewish songs in Cambodian.
Come.
Okay. Okay, leave a flag.
I can't sing that through.
Never mind, but come to the circle.
So, all right, I'll talk.
Well, was Yiddish was some of the code language too for the German, High German, or?
Yiddish is a German Jewish language.
Yeah, but it was
Originally,
too big to have it separate though, to be able to say things
It's
that not
separated
everybody else.
with the
wanted.
time being, but
Uh-huh.
you know, we're not going into that.
Okay, okay, fine.
Because we have songs to sing.
Yeah.
I'm happy to chat about that. We have songs. So, the theme of today's workshop it's on the cover page. Songs with the nigun or nigun type refrains. I think it's there for a reason because a lot of Yiddish songs have refrains that are nigunim, that meaning that they use syllables, not words, for refrains.
Okay.
Bum bum chibiri bum yum bum 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 bidi bidi. There's a whole section, a large swath of Yiddish songs have nigun refrain, or nigun in Ashkenazic Hebrew, right, in Yiddish, or nigun in Hebrew refrains. The other idea behind this choice is that it's easier for non-Yiddish speakers, for people who are not that fluent with Yiddish, to go into the nigun rather than be struggling with words. But I did provide translations into English of all these songs. And we start with a song that actually is named Zemer. Zemer is a song, a tune, a song. It was written by Aaron Zeitlin. Yes, it's a very interesting one. It's about this Reb Motenu, some certain Reb Motenu, who has a dialogue with God. Right? First, it's good morning to my God, and there's some battle, some war going on, some unrest is happening. Nimm herab von uns dein Kass, remove your anger from us, and that menton kedin vekidas. Right? We do according to your law. So din is a law. It's a Torah court based din, and das is a da'at.
That.
Yeah, the das in Ashkenazis. It's a certain type of knowledge of law. The part of Chabad, Chochma, Bina, Da'at. Chochma, Bina, Das. Three types of knowledge or wisdom there, right? So it's an abbreviation. And then the second one, then tzaddikim, these righteous ones, gay and bon. But Rishoyim, the evil ones, fal and bon. So you say the word bon with two different implications. So tzaddikim, the righteous ones, they ascend, but the evil ones, they fall down. And that bon is also has this sound imitation meaning. Rishoyim fal bon. Bom, biri biri bom. We go straight into the refrain. Second verse. Zog the Rebbe, Reb Motenu. That Rabbi Motenu, not Rabbi. I'm sorry. Reb is a Mr. Motenu. He's not an ordained rabbi. So God help there. God help is so you learn Yiddish songs, you learn Yiddish language. Songs is a great medium of learning. You do Yiddish theater, you learn Yiddish. God help there. It's kind of a pun because God help, it's hello, but it's a religious way to God help you. God help. In Bavarian German, it's very common expression in how people greet each other is Grüß Gott.
Yeah.
Right? So God greets you. So it's a similar way. God help. But it sounds a little funny because God help you, God.
Yeah.
But it's not just funny, it's deep because of the phrase Avinu Malkeinu, right? Because it's our Father and our King. And there's this relationship with our Tatanu Gotanu. It's like, in other words, it's our dear Father, our Daddy, our really intimate, and also this overwhelming God, deity. It's like these two things that are two sides of the same. Very Jewish, very intimate, really Jewish. Der Tag is haste. The milchama is schwer. The day is hard. The war is bitter. It's hard. Schwer is hard. No, ben los nicht heraus das Gewehr, but you don't lay down the arms, the weapon. You don't let it out of your hands. And finally, sagt der Rebbe Reb Motenu, a guten Abend, dear Gotenu, good evening, dear God. Der Tag is haste. The day is hot. Chabal's gemacht. I've done everything. I'm done with everything. Give me, and I would ask him, it's a typo, I apologize, there's one typo here. Give je mir. Je means so. It's Slavic particle based on meaning. So, give me a stille Nacht, restful night, which might or might not refer to death as well. Like, think of Goethe, the Mignon song. So it kind of has this esoteric meaning, and it's a beautiful song, first of all. So let me present it for you. Bom, bom, bidi bidi bom, bim bom, bim bom, bidi 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 bom, bom, bidi bidi bom, bim bom, bidi bidi bom. So der Rebbe Motenu, gut Morgen dir Gotenu. Nemaro von uns dein Kass wird men ton kedin vekidas. Oy tzadikim gehen bom. Oy rishoyim fall. Bom, bom, bidi bidi bom, bim bom, bim bom, bidi bidi repeat the same bum, bum, bidi, bidi, bum. Bidi, bidi, bum, bim, bum, bidi, bidi, bum. Sagt der Rebbe Montenu, God help dir, Gottenu, der Tag is heiß, die Milchome ist schwer, nur men los nicht arois das Gewehr. Oi, Tzadikim, Tzadikim gehen bom, oi, Rishoyim, Rishoyim fallen bom, bom, bidi, bidi, bom, bim, bom, bim, bom, bidi, 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 bim, bom, bom, bidi, bidi, bom, bim, bom, bidi, bidi, bom. Sog der Rebbe red Motenu, avut ovent dir Gottenu, der Tag is heiß, ich hab alles gemacht, ich hab alles gemacht, right? Ich hab alles gemacht, gib mir a stille Nacht. Oh, Tzadikim, Tzadikim gehen bom, oh, Rishoyim, Rishoyim fallen bom, bom, bidi, bidi, bom, bim, bom, bim, bom, bidi, 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 bom, bom, bidi, bidi, bom, bim, bom, bidi, bidi, bom, 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 bidi, bidi, bom, bim, bom, bim, bom, bidi, 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 bom, bom, bidi, bidi, bom, bim, bom, bidi, bidi, bom. Right. Right, so I think it's pretty simple tune, relatively, right? It's not very complex. And I'm here with you, but I will let you sing progressively more and more. Right, so make sure, I want to hear the words. I want to hear you say the words. Just the words separately. Let's address one step at a time. Okay? So, Zog, not the bimba, I know we can do bimbiribom. Zog, the Rebbe, Reb, Motenu. Gut morgen, dir, Gottenu. Nimm arop von uns dein Kass, wird menton kedin de kidas. De kidas. Oi tzadikim. Tzadikim gehen bom. Oi rishoyim. Rishoyim fallen bom. Fallen has two syllables. Fallen. Fallen. Yeah, there's a schwa there. Fallen. Fallen bom. Yeah, it's not fallen, but fallen. 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 Yeah. Let's just find it. Fallen. Fill it out. Oh, yeah. You will go more into, and then second verse. Zog der Rebbe, Reb Motenu. A God help dir, Gottenu. Der Tag is heiß, die Milchome is schwer. No men lost nicht arois das Gewehr. Great. And third verse. Zog der Rebbe, Reb Motenu. A guten Abend dir, Gottenu. Der Tag is heiß, ich hab alles gemacht. Gib mir a stille Nacht. That's it. And Oi Tzadik.
But that's a G, not an M. On give.
Je. Gib, I asked you to add that
Yeah,
word
yeah,
there.
I just
It's
didn't
missing.
know.
Z-H-E in transliteration. Je.
Okay.
Gib mir. Yeah. Right? Okay. Oh, tzadikim, tzadikim gehen bom. Oh, rishoyim, rishoyim fallen bom, bom, bidi, bidi, bom. Bom, bim, bom, bidi, 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 bom. Bidi, bidi, bom. Bim, bom, bidi, bidi, bom. All right, let's do it from the first verse. So, der Rebbe Motenu. Second verse. Zog der Rebbe Montenu, God help dir Gottenu, der Tag ist heiß, die Milchome ist schwer, nur man los nicht geräust das Gewehr. Oi, Tzadikim, Tzadikim gehen mo, oi, Rishoyim, Rishoyim fallen bom, Sagt der Rebbe Montenu, a guten Abend dir Gottenu, der Tag ist heiß, sobald gemacht, gib mir a stille Nacht. Oi, Tzadikim, Tzadikim gehen mo, oi, Rishoyim fallen. Once and actually illustrating the talk of the late Melville Pasternak. Melville Pasternak, who was raised in, I believe, in Montreal, was the first to publish this books of Hasidic repertoire, beginning 1960s, 70s, and there was happened once in Brooklyn, in Crown Heights, one of the very interesting Hasidic shtibbels. And he talked these crazy stories of how he was luring actual Hasidim who did not understand the concept of performing music for recording, audio recording. They could only perform music as part of the actual religious practice, luring them into a Midtown Manhattan studio where there was some semi-naked girls who were running around or something else was happening. They could not understand for their lives what was happening around, and all these crazy stories. But among many other, and by the way, that lecture with us playing music is on YouTube. So if you will download Pasternak talk lecture or something, you'll find it. It was an amazing guy. And so he published a lot of these books and sheet music folios and books per se. So when he talks about the nigun, he says that there is this esoteric concept of the nigun being compared, being akin to the Kinderloschen, the children's language. So children who babble, and because everybody are like children in God's eyes. We're, however wise we are, we're like small, silly children in front of God. So we do simple. We retreat into the Kinderloschen. We retreat into the child's language, being simple in front of our Creator, not pretending we're wiser than we are. And that also creates that direct channel communication. We're not trying to communicate some human philosophical constructs, intellectual constructs, but rather being simple and immediate in our conversation, like with our parents. So that's kind of one of the ideas which I really like. Believe it or not, whether it's true or not, but it's a really beautiful idea. Being simple, becoming simple. So, all right. So let's move on to the second song. So this song, those of you who attended yesterday's concert, you saw that song. Gabe, was for the Rebbe. The two sisters, Dasha and Zinaida, singing this, right? The How to Please the Rebbe and the Rebbetzin, the Rebbe's wife, by the dishes of Ashkenazic Jewish cuisine, which allegedly has all these healing qualities.
So what's a quick translation here of these verses?
Oh yeah, so I didn't give the. So Gabai is a sexton or the beadle, in the synagogue.
Okay.
I'm not the right person to translate.
Gabbai, Gabbai is an assistant.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
system.
but-
It's a system. It's like the non-religious assistant to the service. Like we say
Has to give out
the
the books.
host. We call the
Yeah.
host now. You know, we have usher and host. So
Right.
if the person who assists the rabbi, you know, who is going to have the first aliyah, the second aliyah, you know, who's going to listen.
The logistics.
Logistics.
Logistics
help.
question, yeah.
Yeah.
So the Gabbai and his wife will be a Gabbet then.
That's
For
the
the-
Rebbe?
Rabbi is the rabbi.
Rabbi.
Oh, the Rebbe.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and Rebbetzin is his wife.
Is the wife sometimes.
Oh.
Sometimes, right.
Well, sometimes the wife of rabbi is not the rebbetzin.
Right.
Or
Ah.
she doesn't want to be a rebbe.
Well,
Okay.
okay. Let's not go there.
So the next one,
It's about Gabbai. It's a dialogue. So as we go through this set of songs, we also tap into other genres of Yiddish song, which is really wonderful. So dialogue is very typical genre of Yiddish songs. A lot of dialogue. In fact, call and response is very Jewish idea, and then it was adapted by other Abrahamic religions. But originally Jewish idea, and so that's why another interesting observation by Judith Friedrich, a really important scholar of Jewish music, originally from Hungary, who's a professor at Bar-Ilan University in Israel, in Tel Aviv. So she compared Jewish liturgy to the theater, or rather Yiddish theater, to Jewish to liturgy, because it has all this communication going on. And not for nothing, people were going to the Yiddish theater in Lower East Side, New York, and other places, like to the synagogue. In a way, they would interrupt. They would break the fourth wall, try to break the fourth wall, and communicate with actors. Like be really part of it. Those simple people, workers who got before television and radio after the hard day, and they would try to participate in the life of their characters that they play on stage.
yeah.
But that was very much like synagogue. So we have this dialogue. You know, Gabbe, was will der Rebbe? What does the rabbi want? The Rebbe will, wir sollen der Langen. If the rabbi wants, you have to offer him that.
Ah.
Was? What? Was is what? So the first was Latkes, Schmalz. Do you need a translation? Latkes?
Yes.
Potato
Potato
pancake.
And potato bit luggage,
Yes.
okay. What
And
schmaltz?
Schmalz is goose fat.
Oh, I didn't
So
know
there is there is this debate between do we eat latkes with sour cream or applesauce?
Oh.
Right? Which is it's very regional because sour cream comes from Eastern Europe, where I'm from, or northern part of Eastern Europe. I'll tell you quickly that it's very interesting. We had many such conversations, and applesauce basically comes from Bavaria and Germany. They still have that. And also in the southern part, in southern Ukraine, they like it sweet. We don't understand that kind of stuff. Sweet is dessert, period. Latkes and fish and everything must be savory. There's no sugar there, no place for sugar. Like for dessert, I'll have a cake and everything on it, please. But before that, I will have everything with salt and pepper. Please don't mix sugar there. That's our kind of sensibility, culinary sensibility of the Litvakis. But there, outside of that discussion, there's also there's a fleisches. There's a milchiks, and there's a dairy latkes, and there's fleisches. There's latkes with schmaltz. So,
Goose fat?
yeah, it's amazing. It's like, what are you talking about? There's a meat and potato kind of people.
Wait,
Okay.
people need to understand that in traditional Jewish homes, we don't mix dairy with meat.
Of course, we don't. Yeah, it's out of question.
But
Wouldn't
no.
be butter,
Yeah.
you'd use animal fat.
Oh,
You'd
that's
use-
why,
yeah,
okay.
that's what-
Okay.
This is
No,
not-
you can't put butter. You can butter and the sour cream and everything, but please keep the meat out of.
Right.
of
Yeah.
that
Oh,
place.
okay, I got it.
Yeah. So latkes mit Schmalz.
Okay.
As the Rebbe in the Rebbetzin soll seine gesunden Hals. So the rabbi and his wife should be healthy in their throats.
Ah.
All right. So that's not a prescription, right? It's not a doctor's advice. It's whatever rhymes. It's folk rhyme. It's folk poetry. So whatever you can rhyme, that goes. But schmaltz can smear your throat. There's truth there too. Now, the we have where's the niggun? Likol v'yon dev bim bam bam bam. Likol v'Shabbos bim bam bam bam. Likol v'yon dev bim bam bam bam. Likol v'Shabbos bim bam. Only 2 bombs, not 4 bombs. So in honor of holiday, in honor of Shabbos, right? That's all in honor of holiday, in honor of Shabbos, Shabbat, Sabbath. Now, Gabbai is same thing. Gabbai, was will der Rebbe? Der Rebbe will me soll ihm der Lager, was a teller mit Joich, now a bowl of soup. Joich is literally broth, derived from bones. So typically chicken soup would be, the Jewish penicillin. Right? As der Rebbe mit der Rebbetzin soll seine gesund, whatever rhymes with Joich, boy, tummy. Yeah,
It's good for the tummy, is that what that
Yeah,
is?
for everything. It's. I also have some, friend actor of Irish descent shared with me that they had a name for it, Catholic panacea. So whatever.
Or in this case, we call it bobomyosin.
Why?
Chicken soup. Bobomyosin.
Really?
Yeah.
No, but okay.
Bobomyosin.
Well, let me clear it up. Bobomyosin in contemporary meaning is old wives' tales.
Ah.
Has nothing to do with the soup. However, this is a misheard.
Bobomyosin, and as like penicillin, so it's an antibiotic. It's bobomyosin.
Oh, okay. I didn't get
All
that.
my
Yeah, all right. Now, is that a island, Bainbridge Island? I'm whipping out my dictaphone and starting recording.
Actually, somebody took, they actually took some like bouillon cubes, chicken bouillon cubes, and put it in a bottle, and then put the label on it, calling it bobomyosin. like
Sounds like a high school plan. Anyway, but the original was misinterpretation of what actual bovomyosin is. Bovo was a book of the Bovo, which was Jewish adaptation by Elia Levita, the eminent Jewish scholar translator who lived in the bloodiest period of Jewish history, between 1470s and 1500s. Who, among other, he was a refugee from Nuremberg, from Bavaria, went into Italy with his family, and there he wrote this Jewish adaptation. He didn't just translate the Bovo di Anton, otherwise known as Sir Bevis of Southampton, or Bovo Karalevich. It was pan-European plot, pan-European parody on chivalry romance. That's what it was. But he Jewed it up. What he did is he de-Christianized it. He removed all the crosses and churches. So what he did, he made it kosher for his audience, and his target audience was young, unmarried Jewish girls. So despite the rabbis who proclaimed this non-kosher, that was the bestseller for several hundred years.
Oh, really?
It was in print. His children, his sons published that, and many of his other translations. He was a very serious scholar, genealogist, translator. He worked for the Pope. He worked for many luminaries in Italy, whoever was tolerating Jews at the time, and then were not, so he moved on.
What was his name?
Elijah Levita, and Elia Levita, or Elia Bocher.
Okay.
So he created Bovo Maise, which then by the Ashkenazi Jews were misheard as a Bobe Maise, Bobe, which is a Slavic word for grandmother, which became the Yiddish word for the grandmother.
So what's
Has nothing to do with Bovo.
What's the second verse then?
Maise, that's a story.
Yeah. It's old wives.
But in contemporary meaning, Bobe Maise is old wives' tales. That's rubbish, gibberish.
I just don't understand the.
No, that's what Frank implied.
Oh, okay.
You can blame me.
This has nothing to do with this.
Oh,
which
I was
Because, people have misconceptions, and I'm here to clarify that.
Good.
So you know.
Good.
Yeah, bobomyosin.
And now you know. And
Okay.
please read, there's an English translation. It's amazing, it's funny, it's like everything in it. It's like a long, but it's really funny. And you can it was translated into German, into English. Anyway. Let's sing. Any questions?
Yeah,
sorry, we
on the
didn't
way.
finish. Tell a little bit Joich, as the Rebbe mit der Rebbe, like gesund in boy. Fine. The tummy is healed. Next is a little bit fish.
Yeah.
Fish. Fish is fish. as the Rebbe mit der Rebbetzin soll seine gesund in the fish. So why does fish doesn't exactly rhyme with fish? Because this is Litvish Yiddish. It's a Shabbos Dikilosin. Because in the certain regions of Litvak land, of the Litvish dialect of Yiddish, they would pronounce shin as sin. Not s, but s. So, a teller mit fish. Fish. As the Rebbe mit der Rebbetzin soll seine gesund mit the fish, in the fish. That would rhyme.
By the way, this was the case when there were two different kingdoms in Israel and Yehuda.
Yeah.
So they say that in the north they could not pronounce the shin.
Really?
Really?
It's only the
So
north.
they pronounce sin.
Sin, yeah.
So
It's in the
Yeah.
Bible.
And, by the way, talking about Yiddish publications,
could
up
you
until the 20th
translate,
century,
please
in
translate
Yiddish
that one.
publications, the sound s would be conveyed with the letter sin.
Yeah.
So if you look into it, it's all digitized, it's all online. You can go look up on the Frankfurt, University of Frankfurt repository online and others, the archive.org. You download all this, including Boba Meise, by the way. Dos is a shein and Meise, dish. What dish is shein? Isn't in Old Yiddish, of course. So dish is a shein, it's not dish, it's dos. Dos is a shein and Meise. It's a beautiful story. It's a nice story. So it's sin, not never sound.
So can you translate again the whole paragraph?
Rabbi, what does the rabbi want? If the rabbi wants, you have to offer him that.
Okay.
What? A platter of fish. So that the rabbi and the rabbitzin should be healthy in their feet. Feet is plural of fus.
Stomach
Fus
first.
feet, like feet.
Feet and-
So it's your luck that Yiddish is a Germanic language. You can
So
understand the
the
law.
chicken soup helps your stomach, the fish helps your feet.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, and the first
Everybody
verse,
knows.
Latkes and the
the
goose
latkes
fat,
are gonna help what?
your
Oh, your
throat.
throat. Okay, I got
Schmaltz is Hals.
it. I got it.
Alright, you got it, right?
Thank you.
Alright, so we can make it up. If you learn Yiddish, we can make up new verses. Just a hint. Alright.
That would be good.
Let's do the chorus. Lekovet yon teve bim bam bam bam. Lekovet Shabbos bim bam bam bam. Lekovet yon teve bim bam bam bam. Lekovet Shabbos bim bam. Gabei, was will der Rebbe? Der Rebbe will, soll in der Langen. Was? Latkes mit Schmalz, als der Rebbe mit der Rebetz soll sein gesund in Hals. Very under tempo. Let's say it again. I would say, Gabei, was will der Rebbe? Der Rebbe will, soll in der Langen. Was? Latkes mit Schmalz, als der Rebbe mit der Rebetz soll sein gesund in Hals. Lekovet yon der bim bam bam bam. Lekovet Shabbos bim bam bam bam. Lekovet yon der bim bam bam bam. Lekovet Shabbos bim bam. Second verse. Gabam, was will der Rebbe? Der Rebbe will, soll in der Langen. Was a Teller mit Joich, als der Rebbe mit der Rebbe soll sein gesund in Boich. Lekovet yon der bim bam bam bam. Lekovet Shabbos bim bam bam bam. Lekovet yon der bim bam bam bam. Lekovet Shabbos bim bam. Gabe, was will der Rebbe? Der Rebbe will, soll in der Langen. Was a Teller mit Fisch, als der Rebbe mit der Rebbe soll sein gesund in die Fies. Lekovet yon der bim bam bam bam. Lekovet Shabbos bim bam bam bam. Lekovet yon der bim bam bam bam. Lekovet Shabbos bim bam. Let's try to do it in the real tempo.
Oh, no.
squeeze in as many syllables into one period of time as need be. So if it's too many syllables, that's your problem. It's not my problem. I have to speak faster. The famous saying is the Jews are never late for the train. It's the train that leaves early. So, Gabbai, was will der Rebbe will mir soll in der Langen, was hat es mit Schmaus, als der Rebbe mit der Rebbe soll seine gesund in Haus. Lekko mit Jantel, bim bam bam bam, Lekko mit Shabbos, bim bam bam bam, Lekko mit Jantel, bim bam bam bam, Lekko mit Shabbos, bim bam. Aber was will der Rebbe? Der Rebbe will mir soll in der Lange, was a Teller mit Joi, als der Rebbe mit der Rebbe soll seine gesund in Beuch. Lekko mit Jantel, bim bam bam bam, Lekko mit Shabbos, bim bam bam bam, Lekko mit Jantel, bim bam bam bam, Lekko mit Shabbos, bim bam. Was will der Rebbe? Der Rebbe will mir soll in der Lange, was a Teller mit Fisch, als der Rebbe mit der Rebbe soll seine gesund in die Fisch. Lekko mit Jantel, bim bam bam bam, Lekko mit Shabbos, bim bam bam bam, Lekko mit Jantel, bim bam bam bam, Lekko mit Shabbos, bim bam. Beautiful. I love That's just a beautiful song.
So this was, so this is like,
Hold on. Questions. How is it sung?
well, I mean,
It can be sung by one person.
yeah.
It can be dramatized between two persons who split the lines however you want, because it's not completely clear where that separation of the lines goes. Obviously, Gaba, yeah, sure. Was will der Rebbe?
Actually, my question was, I think of songs, how are they disseminated? Like, is there like recording or popular song or everybody's listening?
From mile to mile. Orally.
Just really a folk song.
Yeah, it's
Just
also.
people to people, and
Yeah.
people got together.
From
Just
one
sang.
person to another, people will get together. And by the way, if you noticed yesterday, again, for those who attended traveling English time, Zinaida and Dasha, what struck me immediately, they sang in harmony.
They
And-
were they had
Yeah.
beautiful voices.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
But they sang in harmony, which is very atypical for Yiddish folk song. You never hear people sing in harmony. It's very monodic culture, which goes back to Mediterranean tradition. It's very monodic. You don't sing in harmony, Yiddish songs in harmony, unless it's some Zulzer, 19th century Reform synagogue in Vienna. Right? And I asked them before, so I was kind of startled, what's going on? And they told me that as young girls, young ladies, young women, they used to go to večorky. Večorky is a Belarusian, as a social in a club. And they would mingle there with young people of all background, Belarusians, Poles, whoever. They were in, I think they grew up in Gomel region, which is eastern Belarus, that was Soviet part. I met them in Pinsk, which was Polish part, but obviously not after the war. Western Belarus was occupied by the Soviets, or as they say, liberated, whatever language you use, annexed by the Soviets in 1939, in September 1939. So anyway, they would go to Večorky, and they would hear Belarusian girls sing in harmony, which is very typical for Slavic songs, and they loved it, and they learned it, and let's sing in harmony from now on. And they were really wonderful. They were just also translating Belarusian and Russian songs into Yiddish, so they would sing those translations to us. And I think we'll do the other way around as well, Yiddish songs into Russian, I think. And they remember, those were their father's songs. They remember from their father from the 1930s. They had this very young, like the other couple of sisters in Vitebsk, right? yellow pages notebook with yellow pages written in ink from their mother, from their father, that they kept through the decades, and I was written, and they would sing for hours from that notebook.
I listen to some kind of influence, maybe. I don't know. I'm asking you from the traditional Chazanut, cantorial way of davening.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the nusach was the same, of course. Yeah, I mean, where would they get musical ideas for folk songs? They go to the synagogue. They hear the chazan.
Mm.
The chazan who prays.
Well, the first part, not the rhythmical.
Well,
part. The first
yeah,
part is very, very.
You're absolutely correct.
traditional.
You're absolutely correct. So that the structure of the recitative going into pismon or structured, rhythmical structure, it's very typical for cantorial fantasias. If you listen to anything like it, see. And then we go. That kind of stuff. So yeah, the same idea. You listen to all this golden era, golden age, cantorial records, Yossel Rosenblatt, David Reutemann, all those names. You hear exactly the same stereotypical structure. You're absolutely right. And that would be projected onto instrumental music. There's Doina, going to Hora, into Freilochs or Redele, there's folk song, etc., etc. You're right.
I've noticed that every song we've sung or played so far has always been in a minor key. Is there a reason for that? Or
There are more minor key songs than major key songs in Yiddish.
I wonder why.
Because it's modal, it has nothing to do with sadness.
Yeah.
Because all of that exists within the realm of modal thinking, and the modal is a minor, I quote unquote, because they're not minor.
Yeah, I know.
And even though it's not, oftentimes not minor third, it's got to be neutral fifth, neuter third. It's more present in those tropes, cantorial tropes, rather than major third. That's
Okay.
it. They exist. There are other songs that exist as well. They're just
major.
there are less of those. That's
Okay.
it. But it has nothing to do with sadness or.
Yeah.
No.
Just a choice.
Now, another song in minor, but it's not minor. It's like in Freygish. Freygish, it's a modified Phrygian. So after that, explain it somehow.
Yeah, Phrygian mode.
But modified Phrygian.
Yeah, I got it.
Freygish is Beregovsky's term. But in cantorial traditions, Chazanot is called Ahavorabo, by the name of the prayer, the great love. And etc. Or there's Mishavera. Okay, so Bainbridge is a 25. Break Me at 25. Song of a drunk, yes, at a wedding. I'm gonna sing the song now. Not that. Right? And this guy goes basically, what is it, what 25? We're talking the pre-revolution, the Tsarist times. It's huge amount of money, which very few Poshetayidin, simple Jewish people, would hold in their hand at one time. It's like you could buy, I don't know, several cows for that money. So here's a 25er. Bring it to me. I'll pay a couple pennies to the musician, so they'll play a beautiful tune. And then he goes into the Anigun de la Taya, a tune, a dear one, a wonderful one. And then basically each verse is breaking into another type of change. You go progressively, it increases his pay, his promise of pay. Probably doesn't have that much money. Now, Fira, a quarter, I don't know, Tzene, a dime, I don't know, and then Imperial, that's imperial ruble. It's a 25th of that 25 in gold, Imperial. So,
What song are
Right, Jemilois.
you
sorry.
stepping a step
It's okay, but we'll go
back.
back. I'm sorry, my bad. But we'll go back. Since I'm already talking about Vaya Jemilois.
Where are we?
Next page. Literally next page. I skipped a page. And then, so the first one, Spielgener, was Norenlach and Nigen de la Taya. Again, whatever rhymes. Drayer, Taya, deer. Taya is deer. Now, Afsamirod Nefirer, Spielgener, was Norenlach, so play to me musicians.
Yeah.
Those Zelbeke Mifria, the same as earlier. Same as before. Third verse, weil Jemirois Afine von 20, Afsamirod Netzener, the 10th dimes. Spielgemir plus Norenlach, plus Zelbeke, nor Shena. The same but more beautifully.
Yeah.
Shena. Shane, Shena, not Shader, Shena. You skip the yin. Shena. The comparative form. The Shenste, the most, ultimate Shenste. Weil Jemirois Afine von 20, Afsame Imperialen. Gewel wetten die plus Norenlach, I'll ask the musicians. They sollen sich nicht eilen. So they should not rush. Just take it little, I'm a little tipsy. They should not rush. They sollen sich nicht eilen. Eilen is to rush. And they rush. Okay. Same idea. Weiche mir Reis, Affine von 20er. Auf Samer Dreyer spielte mich les nur im Lach an Nigendulatayr. Ramachidirai, Ramachidirai. Bring the gesture. Affine von 20er. Make a big deal out of that. Affine von 20er. Auf Samerod Nefirer spielt Jamir Klezmorim lach dasselbige wie früher. Ramachidirai, Ramachidirai, Bei Jemirois, Affine von 20er, auf Samerone Zener, spielt Jamir Klezmorim lach, dasselbige nor Shener, just more beautifully. Affine von 20er. Auf Sommer Imperialen. Did you hear that? Imperialen. $10,000, you know, like, you're a big deal. You have to like say it like $10,000, you know. Auf Sommer Imperialen. Gewel net Niklas Morim lach. Zij sollen sich nicht eilen. Applebaum was a Soviet Yiddish singer with some cantorial past in the 1930s. It's all digitized, available on the internet by Jimmy Royce. There's another song with the same title that you can find in the Melodic Anthology. By the way, if you're interested in Yiddish song, definitely check it out. It's free. Multiple songs available online. Yiddish songs, plural, .org. YiddishSongs.org. It's a mini website of the Workers' Circle. And a couple years ago, the Melodic family made this whole 5 volumes, made this available. So all you have to do, you can immediately access the lyrics and translations and transliterations. In order to download actual scans of sheet music, you have to enter your name and email address for each one, and then you have a PDF. So there's that. And there's bei Jimmy Royce Affine von 20er auf Samerot mit Reier spielt Jimmy Royce mal im Lach an irgendein Latayer ayam diram da ayam diram da ayam diram da ayam diram the waltz. Same words with a different tune. But this one I love. It's not in that collection, so it's more kind of absolutely unique, that you want. But definitely look up YiddishSongs.org. Great resource. All right, let's sing it. Ready? Syllables are not meaningless. They are the epicenter of this song. Everything else serves you getting there. So you're basically asking musicians to accompany you on something that it's there on your heart. You want to pour it out. And finally they start playing on you.
So that's the tune.
Self-immersed. Now finally,
That's the tune.
That's the tune. That's the tune. Now that you got their accompaniment and you're doing it, right? So that's why you're doing it. It's not just some auxiliary, whatever, gibberish, right? That's the essence of it.
If you know how to say the words.
And also, say it like you mean it. Basically, with all the gestures, the old Odessa joke. There's a tourist who commits an Odessan carrying 2 huge watermelons under his arms. Say, excuse me, how did I get to Deribasov Street? Can you hold my watermelons? Sure. I don't know. Hold my watermelons. You have to talk with your hands. If they, I know, should I know? Hold the watermelons. So there's that. All right. So the zweite couplet, the second verse. Bei Jimmy Royce, Affine von 20er, auf Samerotne Vierer, spielt Jimmy Klezmor im Lach, dasselbige wie früher. Affine von Zener spielt schon ihr Klezmor im Lach, das selbige, das schöne. You listen enough to those singers, cantors, you get it, video. Fine von 20 auf Samme Imperialen. So quellbändig Klezmor im Lach, sie sollen sich nicht eilen. If you ever read this anti-Semitic pamphlet by Richard Wagner, das Judentum in Musik, the Jewry in music, what he got aggravated, he got pissed off not because he hated not just Jews, he hated everyone, he was a misanthrope. But you can kind of understand that because, not justify, but understand. He was a revolutionary, he was exiled from Germany out in 1849 to Switzerland. And he was very jealous of his rival Merber, who was Jewish, who happened to be Jewish, very assimilated Jewish, but nevertheless Jewish in France, having time of his life performing his operas. And Wagner was very talented. He was genius in music, and he was sitting in goddamn Switzerland in exile because he was on the wanted list in Germany. He couldn't make it back safely. He had to wait there. So he was very pissed off, and he found his scapegoat. The Jews! What else is new? Here is in 2025, scapegoat, the Jews! Right, but what actually, that's very cultural, in terms of cultural studies, a very interesting study, his pamphlet. Because what aggravates him, what pisses him off, like he finds what's annoying, is that Jewish exaltation. And he really pinpoints it, that ecstatic exaltation. He was a good musician with a great ear. He pinpointed it because that ecstatic stems from the Mediterranean that was coined more than 100 years later in Jewish music studies by Professor Edwin Seroussi and many others by the concept of Yam Tichoniyut, the Mediterraneanism in music, which goes well beyond the Jewish music. It's pan-Mediterranean quality of expression. That also extends to the concept of Jewish mother, or Italian mother, or Greek mother, this overbearing, abundant, but who wants to feed you till you're dead because you're cold. No, Mom, what? Mom, Moshe, what? Am I hungry? No, you're cold. Right? That's but it's like it's the care, it's the warmth, it's ecstatic, it's overbearing, it's more than northern people can bear. It's a different cultural code. That's the disconnect. There's a lot of common ground that allow Jewish music to meld with other European. But that's a different other Europeans. Jews and Roma were other Europeans, so they came from different. They were bearing the other cultural codes, including that ecstatic, including that especially something that other very sensitive but not as anti-Semitic musicians would know, going to say Zul synagogue in Vienna, Beethoven, or Liszt, who was Wagner's father-in-law. They would note that, especially Yom Kippur services, the Jews were really serious and ecstatic. Odin and Malkener and all that, really serious about repenting. They would notice something else was going on there on this extra musical level, on this gestures, on this expression that they didn't see in the church. Was the opposite of the church. Because the ideal of the church would be copying the imaginary angels' voices. And in Jewish tradition, actually, the Midrash goes that God commanded angels to shut up till he hears the voice of people of Israel. That was the priority. Angels was secondary. The priority was people of Israel. So there was that connection. And so that was what honestly annoyed the hell out of Wagner. But he was a good musician. He really heard it. And this song by Jimmy Weiss, it's an illustration of that. So now we can actually go to the essence, to the root. I'm Jewish. Let me be Jewish now. Let me express myself. Not constrain myself with all that Wagner thing. I might play Wagner the other night in the pit, but today I'm playing myself. I'm being myself. So that's. I think it's very important commentary to make.
From the soul.
Yeah, but everybody has soul. Norwegians have soul. Swedish have. Germans have soul. It's different. It's the cultural expressions are different. They were shaped by different various cultural processes. I'm not diminishing the importance of Norwegian soul or Finnish soul. They're all just as important and valuable. They're just different. And Jewish music bears this Mediterranean Yom Tichoniyut, that Mediterraneanism in it. And it's just different thing. Okay, let's go back. The one we skipped. And there are more songs. Like I said in the instrumental workshop, I'm an anxious Jewish person. I brought more, I over-prepared. What if it was not enough? More than it's enough for 2 master classes here, for 2 workshops. It's good. Take it home, sing it, learn it, and share it. And spread the goodness. It's all good songs.
Can I ask another question?
This isn't, yeah.
Are
But please
there
be brief. We have to sing
I
songs.
know. Are there any songs where a woman is central to the song?
Oh, tons.
Okay, I just want to be reassured.
Yes, oh, tons. Of course.
Good. Okay, thank you. That's
Okay,
all
so
I-
this next one is actually one, but she's not a positive character. Actually, she's a very
Yeah,
a bit of a
she's a
negative.
naughty girl.
Okay, so she's a shiksa, she's a goya, she's a Gentile woman, who, and it's not her fault, but the fault is on the rabbi and his son. So this is an anti-Hasidic satire. The story, you'll hear that, maybe I don't remember if I included that song into tonight's program. I heard it as well as part of Holocaust survivors' testimonies from Lodz Ghetto in Poland. And they would sing this funny, satirical song that they had known from the pre-war era to support themselves, to support them kind of for morale. What else? Everybody's dying in this big guilt. Let's laugh. Whatever. Fuck that shit. Whatever. It's like, let's sing funny Jewish songs. But the thing is that Hasidic, anti-Hasidic wars, football, back and forth, was going on for decades, many decades, over a century. And the point when it became funny, and borderline irrelevant, but they were making fun of those because Hasidim were always a sect. They were always elite, always different. The Pashat Yidden, the simple, the Prosta Yidden, Pashat Yidden would not understand what was that about, because normal people, I'm not again diminishing, I'm not playing that role. I'm just saying that most people would just go about their business and make boots, make shoes, make whatever, be blacksmiths, be whatever, and these are a very small sect of part of Jewish society who devote themselves to learning, and especially as Hasidim, which was a subdivision beginning with Baal Shem Tov's teaching at the beginning of the mid-18th century. I don't need to start telling. So, kind of weird, and because weird, funny, make fun of them, not understandable, funny to most Jews who would just go about their day and make their shoes and just milk their cows. So they would also see, because maybe some other funny things were going on by the Hasidim, which you see in the English translation. I would not read it out loud. But there's ay 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 ay, and that's ay 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 is a mocking. Ay ay ay. Ay 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 ay. In a Städel nicht weit von dannen, ay ay ay, is a Rebbe faranen, ay ay ay, lebt wie Scheines, ay ay ay, noch in Chsidim die Beheimes, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, is amul anes geschehen, ay ay ay, hat dem Reben sind gesehen, ay ay ay, mit der Schicksal zwischen die Bäume, ay ay ay, und der Schames und der Schäumer, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ist der Rebbe hingelaufen, ay ay ay, mit der Stecken sie verstoffen, ay ay ay, haben sie sich stark erschrocken, ay ay ay, vor dem Rebenswunder stecken, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ist der Rebbe geworden Kass, ay ay ay, auf die Schickse die Marschas, ay ay ay, dem sind dem Narr rausgetrieben, ay ay ay, in Winter Schicksal allein geblieben, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, Schuschken sind auf dem Dixie, dem ay ay ay, die Meschorsen und Talmidim, ay ay ay, in Rebenshäuser sah nach Schäfer, ay ay ay, is Rebenshäufes gewordener Träfe, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, entfernen auf dem Dixie, dem ay ay ay, die Meschorsen und Talmidim, ay ay ay, dem Reben Chzife hat alle Meiles, ay ay ay, sie passen schon auf viele Scheiles, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay, ay ay ay. So we recorded this song, by the way, in a little shorter version, with Sasha Luria and my band on this Fortunov project, on some testimonies. And I thought, like, it's not like interesting to just do the 75 verses of saying. And the funny verses, but musically it's not interesting. It's like repetitive. So I chose the Misha Niknas Adar, the Niggin. Misha Niknas, Misha Niknas, Misha Niknas, Misha Niknas, Misha Niknas Adar. He who enters the month of Adar, which is a Purim Niggin, of course. It's like the laughter culture, the parody culture, mocking culture. It's everything upside down culture, right?
But there's something in this melody that it's like, it doesn't seem klezmer. It doesn't seem.
It is klezmer.
I know. I mean, but it seems different from the others. I mean,
it's a major. It's a major.
It's a major.
But also Polish. But like if you look at the Bobover tradition, the Bobover Hasidim from small Poland, minor Poland, they're nigunim are mostly in major modes, and this is one of them. Misha Niknas does a Bobover niggun. So yeah, Misha Niknas, Misha Niknas, Misha Niknas, Misha Niknas, Misha Niknas Adar. And repeat. Misha Niknas, Misha Niknas, Misha Niknas Adar. It's a very funny tune. Fun. We even did the gang vocals together, the whole band. It's like, let's do make real fun of those, of that rabbi. Like we really went fully fledged, like mocking culture here, because that's what they meant. That's kind of a process that I employed while arranging the songs. A lot of time, a folk singer would present a really funny, interesting song, but it was not enough for a professional musical composition, for enough to cut a track. And that's what I find appropriate contextual tune that would be create a commentary on that
Yeah.
song.
Oh.
That's what we would do usually, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, but it's so let's sing. Let's sing. If you have any questions, by the way, ask me. A lot of Hebraic words there in this Yiddish, and on purposeful. Yes, please.
What is about Marshas?
Marshas, that's that's a witch. It's an evil witch.
Is it from Slavic?
No, it's Hebrew. It's Loshen Kodesh.
It's from Russia?
Yeah, Marashas. Yeah,
Okay.
Where is, what are you asking?
Marshas.
Where is it?
Where is it?
The Tzifer, the Klippe, all the cursed words. The Hor basically means the Marshas is the evil witch.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Uh,
Oh, the
the Shiksa de Marshas.
Okay.
The Gentile woman, the Shiksa,
Oh, that's a witch because she's Gentile.
not because she,
That
but
makes
she's,
her-
no,
that
that's
makes
not,
her a witch.
not because she, no, you didn't get the song. It's
Okay.
because she lures away the rabbi, or the rabbi is lured by her, whatever. And
Yeah.
she's not blamed on that, but it's the rabbi who is like
Ah.
to blame. His son is bad, but the rabbi is even worse because he lost
Takes her
himself
home.
in with the shiksa. But she's also like a shiksa. She's also not very nice. They're all like.
But at the end of the day, she knows the Shailas.
Yeah.
She answers the Shailas. She answers
Shailas,
the
right.
rabbinical, Talmudic.
Oh, Shilas.
Shilas.
So she became the rabbi. That's the lowest of the lowest. No, she became. Now she's the rabbi. She's solving legal questions. Shilas are the legal questions. Shilas, right? So the legal. So that's they go lower and lower and lower. She even the paskin and Shilas is to solve the legal questions. She opens the Talmud, opens the Gemara. That's what she does. That's how we know. But Hasidim are the behemoths, like the behemoth, right? Not just a cow,
Yeah.
but in Yiddish that means an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, and they're also very, anti-feminist, anti-woman, no, you don't know what I mean. Anti-woman expression in Yiddish, which I learned from my mother. Ausgeführt the Behemoth von Stahl. It means finally we married off her. Like she was an old lady, she's like 26. Finally, we married her off. So we took the cow out of the stall. That's a real expression. A real Ausgeführt the Behemoth von Stahl. That doesn't mean she's an idiot. She was like non-marketable in terms of old society. It was a serious matter. Yeah, pretty brutal. We had to get married, or else.
Well,
That's right.
I
That's
was
right.
32. I mean, that's middle age then.
So anyway, and so you know the context. So the behemoths, okay, there's in Hebrew it means just animals, behemoth, right? There's a Rosh Hashanah Tova or Rosh Hashanah Shel Behemoth, 1 month in a little before actual Rosh Hashanah, right? That's fine. But in Yiddish that means idiot. So the Chassid, so he makes his living. That rabbi makes his living from the Chassidim the behemoths. It's just per Polish Yiddish pronunciation. Ein becomes I. Eins becomes eins. Behemoths. So they're idiots. He's an evil one, or whatever. But they're idiots. Anyway, let's sing. But it's a very interesting historical document. Really, and that the fact that they sang it in the Lodge Ghetto, the young girls to support themselves. Maybe girls, guys, whatever. We don't know. There was a woman who gave this testimony.
So this song is from the ghetto?
No, well, it was sung in the
It was
ghetto, but it was
sung
not from the ghetto.
Yeah.
It was from this
Yeah.
interwar
Yeah.
anti-Hasidic, whatever, anti-Maskilic wars, ideological wars that were waged. Because on the one front, they were like yesterday you heard, there were all these factions, political factions. There were socialists, Bundists, and there were Zionists, among which there were leftist Zionists, Zion, and there were right-wing Zionists, Beitar, and there were all this. And then on the other side, entirely other side, there was a religious folk who were Hasidim and Maskilim, anti-Hasidim, and it was very complex. The Jewish society was very complex. As always. Jewish wars, never easy. At any time, any period in time. So this is actually, it's a learning piece. All right, let's sing. And in der Städte nicht weit wandern, ai, 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 is a Rebbe is amul an Ness geschehen. Ai, ai, ai. Man hat dem Reben sind gesehen. Ai, ai, ai. Mit ner Schicksal zwischen den Bäumen. Ai, ai, ai. Und ner Schames und ner Schäumer. Ai, ai, ai. Ai, 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 ai. And by the way, Shamus and Shomer, I didn't give a translation. So somebody's Shamus' assistant,
Yeah, Shomer is the one who
guardian,
guardian. Yeah.
from the sin.
Yeah.
Like he corrects, like you should not do that.
Yeah.
He usually accompanies the rabbi and says, no, that's not right. Save guardian, yeah, guardian.
Chaperone.
Guardian.
Chaperone gives an advice legal like that. So on a Shabbos and on a alone, it's not kosher. Ay, 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 ay. Verse number 3, let's go. Is der Rebbe Ahid gelaufen? Ay, ay, ay. Mit dem Stecken sie verstoffen? Ay, ay, ay. Haben sie sich stark erschrocken? Ay, ay, ay. Vor dem Lebensmund der Stecken? Ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ist der Rebbe geworden? Ay, ay, ay. Auf die Schicksal, die Machschas, ay, ay, ay. Dem sind dem Narren rausgetrieben, ay, ay, ay. In dem der Schicksal allein geblieben, ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. Schuschen sich auf dem Dixie, dem die Meschorsim und Talmidim, ay, ay, ay. In Rebens Häuser sah mach Schäfe, ay, ay, ay. Is Rebens Häufis geworden Träfe, ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. Entfernen auf dem Dixie, ay, ay, ay. Die Beschossim und Talmidim, ay, ay, ay. Dem Rebens Ziefe hat alle Meiles, ay, ay, ay. Sie passen schon auf viele Scheiles, ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay. All right. We have probably time for one other song. Let me make a choice.
Did you say this had 70 verses or something?
Huh?
Did you say this song had 70 verses or something?
Well, I mean, many. It was a hyperbole. I mean, many. Like, you can go verse after verse after verse. Like, do really, it's like, what do you call shanties? Sea shanties?
Yeah.
That's the genre that only the singers enjoy. Nobody wants to put on the record and listen to that.
Oh, no.
Right?
That one
Only the
has 7.
singers enjoy it. So, yeah, it's like a sea shanty.
Wow.
Okay, but like, that's a counting song, it's a fun one, but
What's
we have
that?
a good one. Sing to Yiddish.
Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah.
Yeah. Where's the negative?
I don't know how many verses.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. It felt like getting to the play. So this is a counting song.
Which one?
Give it. It says has number 49
Oh.
on the top.
Are we doing all 7 verses?
Yes, because there are 7. The meaning is there's a cumulative rhyme. So you add a line each verse. And usually there are many counting songs. In fact, my friend, the wonderful singer, songwriter, genius philologist, Psoy Korolenko, if you ever heard of him, he and I made this program, Who Knows About 10. So sacred counting songs, not just from Jewish tradition, also from different Christian traditions, and there's a Jewish song that became a communist song. It was, of course, they were adapted in the Soviet times. Religion became faith, non-kosher, but so they made the Third International, and one is Karl Marx, two is Lenin and Trotsky, and the third is the Third International. Because originally one is God, and 2 are the tablets, and 3 is our patriarchs, and 4 are matriarchs, and 5 are the books of Moses, and 6 are the Mishnayot, right? And the 7th are the days of the week, and the 8th are the days before circumcision,
12
Grace,
years.
the nine Chadoshim Trogen, the 9 months that they bear the child, and the 10 are the Dibres, 10 are the commandments, and 11 are the Shvot, and 11 are the Stern, and 11 stars, right, and 12 are the Shvot, so it's the tribes, and 13 are the Midas, the attributes of religion by Maimonides. And so it's also, but this is different. So the one is
That's a
like,
Pesach song.
huh?
That one's a Pesach song.
Right, that's right.
Many,
Many different tunes, by the way, also like.
Of course.
Ich weiß, was es ist. Einer ist a Kodesh Baruch Hu, der Eberster in Himmel. Einer bist du. That's another person I learned from Professor David Fishman. He learned from some rabbi in New Jersey. You know, that's a fun one. And there are many others ones. So anyway, this one, the one is Van Kossen's Tisch. It's a groom's table. Whom they esst, whom they drink, where they eat and where they drink, whom they huliet, whom they sing, where they party and where they sing. And the refrain is you la la, you la la la, you la la, you la la. Now the popular syllable is you la la. I saw some footage from there's this. It was then acquired, digitized by Spielberg Film Archive, Jewish Film Archive, the Holocaust Film Archive. And so there's this Munkac. We saw that part of that footage yesterday, traveling to Yiddishland with the children's with the old pre-Israel Naphtali verses, right? And it's chilling, really chilling, because you realize most of the children were killed. Just a few. This from 1933, and you imagine, you know. But that was no. And so there's another part of that footage. You can Google it. It's on YouTube. So there is this circle dance, that dance hora, like it's really hora. And that's you say you la la, you la la, you la la. That's the syllable they dance to. I mean, it's really chilling when you realize that the rabbis, the secular youth, the religious, most of them got killed. I mean, it's really terrible. It was 1933. Anyway. Ich will geben zu erklären, was von eins kann als werden. Eins ist beim Chossens-Tisch, wo man esst und wo man trinkt, und wo man huliert und man singt. Julala, 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 like a mazurka. Julala, julala, julala. Ich will euch geben zu erklären, was von zwei du kann als werden. Zwei Sennen, die Chossen Kale, the newlyweds, the bride and groom. Was ich stehen, über alle, they stand above all. In Jewish wedding, you know, the Jewish wedding is the bride and the groom are the queen and the king. It's not just everybody having good time, party, and forget why we convene here. No, they are queen and the king of the whole ceremony. So they stehen über alle, they stand above everybody and above all. No, then eins, we go back. Eins ist beim Chossens-Tisch, wo man esst und wo man trinkt, wo man huliert und man singt. Julala, 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 julala. Ich will euch geben zu erklären, was von drei kann als werden. Drei Sennen, die Mechmutonim, was ich zählen, die Mesumonim, zwei Sennen, die Chossen alle, was ich stehe, über alle. Eins ist beim Chossens-Tisch, wo man esst und wo man trinkt, wo man huliert und man singt. Julala, 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 julala. So three were the mechutonim, the in-laws. It's a word that doesn't exist in English language because they're not the really in-laws. You know, the mechutonim in Slavic languages they do exist because svatim, because they are parents of. Well, it's a relation of parents of the newlyweds between each other.
So where did we get three of them?
Well, why? Good. So you ask. So that you ask, I guess. I asked the same question. Why three? Was one of the newlyweds a semi-orphan?
Yeah.
But they're counting the money, the presents. The mezumanim is the money that was gifted to money present. Grosche Geschenk, in other words, right? So the mechutonim, not in-laws, we call it in-laws, but in Anglo-Saxon culture, who are these people? I don't know them. Right, I see them for the first and for the last time at the wedding. That's it. I'm done with that. But in Slavic cultures, in more kind of a nuclear family, more tightly knit societies, I guess, poorer societies, it was vital that they support each other and support those families both. So they have to know. They might not like each other. Of course, they don't like each other because they're adult people with their established opinions about life and their different opinions. But they have to economically and otherwise support the newlyweds, and they have to tolerate each other for some while at least. So that's, I guess, the answer. The mechutonim, that's why. So, 4 are the Chuppah-Stangen, the poles on which the Chuppah stands. Also, ich will euch geben, zu erklären, was von 4 kann als wer 4 sind, die Chuppah-Stangen, Kossen Kalle, a 4 gegangen, 3 sind, die Mechutonim, wo sie zählen, die Mesumonim, 2 sind, die Kossen Kalle, wo sie stehen, überall, 1 ist, Kostenstisch, wo man esst und wo man trinkt, wo man huliert und man sieht. You can do it. That's right. 5. Enough are the Plasmodim, musicians. Why 5? I don't know. Let's remember. 5 people. Wo sie spielen für Reich und Orem. They who play for the rich and for the poor alike. Because, why? Because they basically played for the tips. So because people were generally very poor, so the parents of the bridegroom and bride would hire them for some minimal, symbolic sum of money. But they would play Vivat. They would honor such and such guests. Wir spielen Vivat, Lekovet, Reb Moshe, unser Vetter von der Kostenzahl, in honor of this uncle on the bridegroom's side, and that meant that he has to give him a tip, and that's how they made their living. Because otherwise, who could sustain a whole klezmer band for several days? Nobody could afford that. With rare exceptions. So that's why they still verreichen Orem. So we understand. Welke zu der Klär, was von Fine, von als wer, Fine sein, die Klasmorim, was ich spiel, verreichen Orem, 4 seinen, die Gruppe stangen, Kostenkalle, a 4 gegangen, 3 seinen, die Mechutonim, was sie zählen, die Mesumonim, 2 seinen, die Kostenkalle, was sie stehen, überall, 1 ist, Kostenstisch, wo man esst, wo man trinkt, wo man huliert und man sieht. Sechs, that has to do with Jewish tradition, with your Jewish literacy. 6 sind die 6 Tage, 6 are the 6 days, was man gar nicht und was man mag. What you cannot do and what you can. What you're not allowed to do and what you can. Because the bride and groom would basically are restricted and eventually fast the day before the wedding. But they're also restricted in other activities 6 days before the wedding. And finally, the wedding day, they're like the chaloshim, they're ready to applaud, they're ready to pass out. Under the chuppah. They're not like, yay, we're getting married, and it's everything, and they realize that it's like a life-changing event, and they're, after this fast, and after this 6 days, it's like young people for them, really. That's the feeling.
Does anybody ever pull out once they go, is that what we have to do? I mean...
No. Oh, no.
No.
I mean, otherwise people would not be married, and do Jewish...
I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, Jewish people are still there, so we get married, I guess.
Yeah.
Somehow. We did it with my wife.
Yeah, it's good.
Not for 6 days, but 1 day. That's real. Let's get real,
Yeah.
So, anyway, 6. Wenn ein Gern zu der Klär, was von 6 kann als wer, Sechs Zennen, die sechs Tag, was mit Ormen, was mit Meg, Finer Zennen, die Klasmorim, was ich spiel, verreichen Ohren, vier Zennen, die Gruppe Stangen, Kossen Kalle, a vier gegangen, drei Zennen, die Mechutonim, was sie zählen, die Mesumonim, zwei Zennen, die Kossen Kalle, was sie stehen, überall, eins ist beim Kossenstisch, wo man esst und wo man trinkt, wo man huljet und man sieht. Yulala, 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 yulala. Seventh verse. What is the seventh? Sheva brachas. 7 blessings.
Yeah.
And there's the funny one.
7 days.
Actually, the funny punchline. Read through it. Mezor tzunaden. They promise you the dowry. Megit kadoches. The kadoch is the plague. It's like, yeah. They give you the plague. They give you nothing. The bobkas. That's the punchline. And then you go back. So read the 7th. Ich will euch geben zu erklären, was von 7 von alles wären. 7 Zähne, die Sheva Broches, mir sorgt zu Naden, mir gibt Kadoches. 6 Zähne, die 6 Tag, was mir tornit und was mir meg. 5 Zähne, die Klasmorim, was sie spielen, verreichen Ohren. 4 Zähne, die Chuppe Stangen, Kossen Kalle, 4 gegangen. 3 Zähne, die Mechutonim, was sie zählen, die Mesumonim. 2 Zähne, die Kossen Kalle, was sie stehen, überall. Eins ist beim Kossenstisch, wo man esst und wo man trinkt, oi, wo man huljet und man sieht. Yulala, 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 yulala. All right. Bravo, bravo, bravo. All right, you can keep the books. Thank you.
Thank you.
Not to sing you guys.
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead.
I've got a question.
All right, what's the question?
Okay. The question is this, is that, all these are, they're folk songs. This is real klezmer music.
No, it's not. Klezmer music is instrumental music. Folk songs not klezmer.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's a folk tradition.
Yeah, but it's folk tradition.
Yes.
And now you have, it's being transformed, by bands like the Klezmatics, for example.
Oh, yeah.
And so you have people who are, purists who say, no, you can't do that.
Yes.
And then there's some people who just say, well, this is the folk tradition, so it's organic. and
Okay,
it's-
let me clear that up. So tradition is it's Latin word, right? Do you know what it means? Tradition.
What has always been done,
No.
is that right?
No.
No.
There's actual concrete meaning of the word tradition.
Okay.
What does it mean, tradition?
Tradition.
No, what does it mean?
Yeah.
What is passed through the generations?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
passing on.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's a process. It's a living thing.
Okay.
If it's in a museum, it's dead.
Well, this is in Latin or in Hebrew? In Hebrew?
No, tradition does not exist in Hebrew. The word
Well,
tradition.
Masoret is what you are
Yeah,
talking
Masoret is not tradition. Let's not go into the
Sure, it's okay. never
Yes, but there's a whole, Athens Jerusalem dialogue.
mind.
It's very ancient, but they have, you know what I mean. Because there's philosophy and there's Machshavet Israel. They're not compatible. They are compatible, they're not compatible. You call it Jewish philosophy, but Machshavet Israel is not real Jewish thought, literally. It's not really philosophy, philosophia. It's Greek, and it's the opposite of Machshavet. It's conceptually opposite. Let's not go there. It's fascinating. I heard really amazing lectures about that, and we did some really amazing Beit Midrash about that, and I was amazed. But no. What I mean is that Jewish tradition is always being changed based on the place and time and context. So whatever the Cosmetics did, and other bands and other artists did, and it's always been the case. And I'm just saying it's always been the case. So it's been changed. But there are purists. Listen, it's again, I referred to the show I did yesterday, this ethnographic theater, traveling to Deutschland. So it's based on the actual field material. It's actual field material that my professor Nina Stefanski and I collected from the people, recorded from the people, etc. And so I once performed it, and of course we studied it, we incorporated it into our study, etc. With full understanding of the validity of it as as traditional material, folk material, that we study with full respect to it and such, etc. But then I performed it in Vienna at the conservatory, at the musicology department a few years ago. And it was, I got a really, really big backlash from them. Some of the chair of the department actually invited me to speak after that. And my point was actually to show that the same material can be used as for the study as it is used for the study of it by ethnomusicologists, etnographers, and whoever else is interested, other niche specialists, because it gives you all sorts of information, urban studies specialist, this or whatever. And it can be incorporated as part of ethnographic theater, as a vehicle of, in my case, I used this material that I personally collected to make it accessible for people who will never ever in their life go to the archive or know about such archive, and go to that archive, request that material, and watch it there, etc. Or even if I put it out on YouTube, some of that I do, they will not find it, will not know what to look for. And you bring it to a nightclub. You set up a projection screen and piano, or you bring the band. Even better so, we did it with my band multiple times. We toured. It was a production of the National Yiddish Theater Building for a number of years, in the most unexpected places where people are taken aghast by that, and then they get interested in that. And I think that actually we perform it very respectfully to those people, giving them, serving as a bridge, even if accompanying. So the essence of the backlash was, how dare you basically beautify or improve the folk? I mean, that's not what I'm doing here. I'm not trying to improve. I'm serving as a bridge between the audience and the screen, and people in the screen, who most of them are not alive anymore, and even if they were, they would be in a very remote location, right? And providing my commentary to it. I'm taking my artistic license as a person who actually collected that material. And even if it did not collect, like tonight you'll see with this songs from testimonies, I did not collect, I didn't have a chance to speak to those people, unfortunately. My medium were the recordings themselves. So I had to really spend extra time going in depth into them, listening, asking questions, people who understand some whatever meanings of certain things to get it right. So it took an enormous amount of hours to really understand it and to present it appropriately. But in this way, you give them a voice. You not just who would just come to, hey, let's watch some field footage for like 12 hours of field footage. Yeah, you have to be really inclined, really motivated. And maybe one or two persons would come, as opposed to thousands of people who are in the audience all over the world, wherever we toured and presented this material. Because you have to like interpret. It's history, and history by default must be interpreted. Right?
Yeah, it's going to come.
Instead of a number of facts, it has to be told. By telling you, interpret it.
Well, and you can't help but bring your perspective to it.
Yeah, you have to acknowledge that. You have to be aware of that.
Yeah.
So you're not biased. You are biased, but so people know that there is this bias, and please take it with a grain of salt, if anything.
Yeah.
But here are the facts, so you're aware, and I present you these facts.
Yeah.
But you are free to take those facts and also use them as you please.
Yeah.
Right? In ethical ways, of course.
Yeah, and the ferry, we were talking about, how people will misuse the word or apply the word mistakenly. Revival. This is not revival.
Right.
It's
creating your own culture based on the historical memory that was revived. Indeed, it was remembered. It was maybe dug out of dusty shelves of archive tapes, whatever. It's the same, any revival is like that, you know, you can't revive the dead.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Yiddish of 1930s Vilna, for example, I give you one just random example, was predetermined by all the languages, Belarusian, Polish, Lithuanian, Russian, you know, and different types of Yiddish, like more learned Yeshivish Yiddish and more simple Kichlosh, the kitchen language. They all defined the exact shape of Yiddish that was spoken there, phonetically, vocabulary, and otherwise. And it did not exist outside of that. Now, almost 100 years later, here on Bainbridge Island, you know, how can we, even if you really study, even if those recordings existed, you might have gotten something, but you don't live in that culture daily, you know, daily basis. Culture, it's in between. It's like intonation, intonatia. It's not the notes. It's what's between the notes, musical notes. It's like that. It's like mode. Musical mode is not a scale.
No.
It's a qualitative versus quantitative aspect of it. So the same thing. So yeah, now I'm all for revival. Granted, you understand what you're doing, and like if you take all the lutes and the baroque fiddles and whatever harpsichords, you do not become all of a sudden a 17th or 18th century musician.
No.
You're still the 21st century musician with all those instruments, and now you have a repertoire and you try to learn it and recreate it, and in this way make it the fact of your life.
Yeah.
And you just speak that language now with those instruments that you're actually, oh, by the way, absolute most of those instruments are not period instruments. They were created now as the replicas of those instruments.
Yeah.
Who would play an actual 300-year-old theorbo? I mean, there are places in museums because they're so fragile, etc. Because they're very replicable in a good way. I mean, they're
Yeah.
something.
No, when I went to at the Seattle Jewish Film Festival, you know, they had one of the films was about, I don't know, Yiddish, I don't know if you want to use revival or whatever, but it's amazing to me how much Yiddish is being brought back, even though, you know, the huge majority of Yiddish speakers were
Let's
right
be
back.
remembered.
But, you know, like there was this whole film was mostly about what was going on at the Weimar Yiddish Festival,
Right,
which
right.
which runs every summer. It's been running every summer for the last 20 years or more.
More, yeah.
And people,
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So
People are
people
doing it.
learn it as a foreign language. They start writing poetry, like including yours truly. Start writing poetry, and they raise their children in this language, absolutely artificially. I'm not talking about Hasidic families. We'll still use
that's the only
English.
place that is still natural, if you like.
Yeah, natural, and the way that it blends with, say, in America, it blends with English, or etc. It's exactly the case that Yiddish always was. That's how there are so many Slavic words, for example, in Yiddish, because it existed on the Slavic-speaking lands. So now Slavic words are irrelevant for American Yiddish-speaking Jews. So they lama machna shene picture. You see, or etc. So you use English nouns and Yiddish verbs.
But there are many Yiddish words used in the language, in English language, even in Spanish. You know,
Chutzpah
in
and
Argentina
bacon.
we use,
Yeah, all of
mujeres a lot.
Yeah. Shein doch solche Nachrichten.
Well, not like phrases, but words we use
Yeah,
in the.
definitely. Yiddish culture in Argentina was huge. Actually, it was alive and striving and book publishing was going on a whole generation longer than in the United States. Like we have full-fledged publication, Yiddish publication from Buenos Aires from 1960s and 70s, which you now can download from archive.org.
We have a Yiddish Zeitung, the newspaper.
Right.
So
So entertainers like Hevel
Sorry?
Katz.
Are there still Yiddish speakers in Buenos Aires?
Of course.
Of course, yeah. So that lasted for a whole generation longer than in North America, in the United States and in Canada.
I grew up in Switzerland and my parents had Yiddish words in the Swiss German.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, Swiss German, because it's Franconian dialects, Alemannish, that's why. But also there's Swiss Yiddish that died out. In fact, the literary magazine that published my first Yiddish poetry in Tel Aviv, they had a whole section for Swiss Yiddish. Published in Roman characters with translation into literary Yiddish in Hebrew characters.
Oh my goodness.
Because it's not mutually intelligible. But the last natural speakers of Swiss Yiddish died in the 60s, 70s. Full-time Yiddish speakers. I have friends in Switzerland, and I spend the Passover Seder in Switzerland. So there are remnants. There was like a last traits of that.
Right,
You can
yeah.
catch it.
Yeah, I just have a few, and then my son uses the same word, so he usually
Here,
asks,
I'll take
why
that.
do you use Swiss? Why do you use these Yiddish words?
Right.
Yeah, but it's definitely.
That's crazy. Because crazy is a cherry. I know because I go to Zurich.
Yeah,
I know Zurich, I know crazy and all those words. I start. Why do you want to learn that? It's such a weird. I want it. It's fun. It's a fun language. It's not a dialect. It's a language. Franconian.
Research projects to try to.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
Me too.
you.
There's a
There are, a lot of them are
That's going on.
practically dead.
It's happening. It's happening.